Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is George and I'm your friendly neighborhood anime and manga fan. I love all things anime and all things manga, and I'm here today to talk about Spice and Wolf episode 4. So, what did I think about this week's episode? Honestly, I think this week's episode was fantastic because it set up the stakes and what's to come the rest of the story, and it was a lot of tension involving both Hollow and Lawrence, as well as a lot of character development with Hollow / Depth, because we get to see just how miserable she's been thus far, you know, in her journey of these 1,000 years. So I think that this week's episode really did a great job at pretty much setting up the future of the story, which I really enjoy, and I can't wait to see how it unfolds. Now, before I go any further with this week's episode, I just want to give you guys a quick reminder to make sure to subscribe to my YouTube channel so you guys can be up to date with all my Spice and Wolf, as well as all my anime and manga content that I'll be providing in this channel. It really helps out a lot, and I would really appreciate it if you guys could subscribe to my YouTube channel. So if you guys could, please subscribe to my YouTube channel. Now, one last thing I wanted to bring up is I want to thank each and every one of you guys who watch my videos and like my videos, share them, whatever, subscribe to my YouTube channel, because we just hit a huge milestone, which is 8,000 subs. So I really just want to, thank you guys so much from the bottom of my heart. It really means the world to me, and I can't believe we finally did it. So now we, head to 2,000, 3,000 and so forward, right? But yeah, I just wanted to say thank you guys so much. So yeah. Now, without any further ado, let's get into this week's episode. So this week's episode starts off where we pretty much leave off that, Lawrence is still trying to, figure out this whole situation with Zarin, the merchant guy, the young guy that he's trying to like get this silver journey coins, up the value, the scheme artist. And, you see at the beginning of the episode, Lawrence meets up with the guy again, and he seems to have somebody from the Marion trade company or somebody from the local company looking into it, and even the guy's like, yeah, this looks kind of sus, like, so I don't understand what's really happening. And what we see is that pretty much Lawrence is like, okay, I need to pretty much get to the bottom of this. And the guy that he hires, or he whistle blows to, he tells him like, okay, we'll get to the bottom of this, and if everything works out, we'll split it, like you'll get a 10%, we split it 50-50, so we'll get like 2,000 silver trendy coins out of that. So that's the goal right now. And then Lawrence is very happy. He's like, yay, I'll get to buy my little shop, which is, we know it's his little dream that he's had. So he's very excited for it. And we see that eventually Hollow starts like feeling a little down, and then they go back to the inn, and then you see why exactly she's feeling the way she is. And that's because she goes in this whole very like emotional breakdown where she talks about like, because Lawrence is like, hey, once I buy my company, Hollow's like, what will happen to me? And Lawrence is like, well, you're the wise wolf, I'm sure you can make it with the amount of money I'll give you, you should be fine. And Hollow's like, yeah, but I don't want to be alone. Like, she's just like talks about like, how much it sucks being alone, how she hates how when you're alone it's cold. And it's very sad because you got to think to yourself, like, just like every person she's ever met, she's outlived them because she is a god after all. And, she gets to live thousands of years, if not forever. And all the human lifespan is very short in the sense that, 70, 60 years for her are nothing, in the sense that, that time will pass and she won't really age. And, everybody that she has had connections with will eventually pass away and she'll be alone. It's similar to something like the story of Frieren, or more like Frieren is very similar to Spice and Wolf, because Spice and Wolf predates it, but that's just besides the point. But yeah, it was very great. Like, I really like that scene, and you see like even Lawrence comforting Hollow, and it's like very beautiful. It was very beautifully done, shot, and he's like comforting her. And eventually what happens is we see that pretty much as the episode goes on, we see that pretty much the Lawrence, he is just about ready to head to sleep. And as he's writing the blueprints, that about his little store, and he has the whole conversation with Hollow. Hollow is like crying and whatnot, and Lawrence is like, okay, you need some tissue paper. It's just like, thank you. And what he proceeds to give her is the drawings of the little shop that he had come up with. And she's like, what are you doing, Lawrence? Like, this is very important to you. He's like, yeah, but I can always just draw it back again. Like, here, you can use it to blow your nose. And it's very sweet of him. It really shows how much he cares for Hollow. And eventually we see that he turns off the light and they're gonna go to sleep, quote unquote, and it's dark, and he bumps his head, and eventually he gets to his bed, but then he notices that Hollow's there, and then he's like, what the? And she pulls him under the covers, and you see it's like there's a lot of like tension. You think to yourself like, oh, what's gonna happen? And you know, as they're getting closer, you see their lips getting closer, and you think like, oh, are they gonna kiss? And then so they throw you a sword, and it's like, no, actually Holo remembers, because she had something that she wanted to tell Lawrence earlier, but now she remembers exactly, which is that she believes that, you know, they're going to be hunted down. And the reason is because they think that they're going to be target of the Marion company. I believe that's the name of the ones that are scheming all of this. And we see that pretty much they're about to pretty much just go and kill them. Like they're going to go get rid of them because they're going to uncover this scheme. And you see Holo and Lawrence, you know, they go on the run. And eventually, you know, they keep being followed by these people. And, you know, Holo's like, listen, we got to split up, because I know if we continue together, they're going to catch up to us and this will be game over. So what happens is pretty much that, you know, Holo trusts Lawrence enough, and it's like a very emotional farewell for the time being. And we see they separate, and eventually Lawrence, he gets caught, and you're like, oh no, he's going to, like, this is game over. And he goes to the company, the one that he snitched on earlier, and he's asking for help. And thankfully they take him in. One of the guys is like, hey, listen, if you guys want beef, we're more than ready to step up and, you know, fight y'all. And the other guys, you know, they're like, nah, I ain't trying to do that. So they back away. And as we see towards the end of the episode is that Lawrence starts walking up to the main guy that he had been making the plans about how they're going to split the profit. And you see that pretty much the guy's like, so they capture your fellow female companion. He's like, yeah. And he's like, okay, well, here's the issue. Like, okay, so we don't really have anything like in for us if we help you, because, you know, you already gave us all the information. So now you can't really bargain with us to give us more information so we can help you with your friend, your female friend. So you're kind of out of luck, and you're like, oh no. And you see like Lawrence just have a breakdown. He's like, oh no, Holo, she's gone. And because you also see that she had been captured. Somebody tells them earlier, like, yeah, your female companion did get captured. And you think to yourself, like, oh, like, this is over. Like, Lawrence is screwed. Holo's captured. Like, what's going to happen? And as Lawrence just starts freaking out, and even the guy's like, listen, I sympathize for you, but I can do anything because I got to, you know, I got to make business. Business is business, man. And, you know, he's on that grind set, and he's not going to jeopardize over a chick, or, you know, they're not good nature. They really just care about the money at the end of the day. And what happens is, you know, as Lawrence is giving up hope in everything pretty much in life, we see that somebody gives a letter, and this letter is very important because it's a letter apparently from Holo. And or this letter this letter was sent by the kidnappers, I believe, or Holo by herself. I can't really recall. But the point is, this letter will tell pretty much where Holo is, or, you know, come to the church. And he pretty much figures that, okay, the church have captured Holo. That's the reason they're really involved and really hands-on on Holo's capture. And what happens is, we see towards the end of the episode that, you know, Lawrence, he eventually spills the beans, because the guy that he's working with, you know, he's like, what's so important about this chick? And Lawrence is like, listen, if I don't tell them, they won't help me, and like, it's really important, otherwise so he pretty much just tells them, hey, the chick they took is the Holo, the Wise Wolf, the one that brings harvest and all that. And the guy's like shocked, like, what? And as the credits start rolling, there's like actually a little post-credit scene where you see pretty much Holo, and when she's captured, and, you know, she's like fighting them off in the way that's scaring them. And you eventually see someone open the door, and, you know, it's a mysterious person and like covered up, so you don't see their face or anything. Holo's like, wait, it can't be you. And you're like, what? And that's how the episode ends. So we don't know who this person is. I'm sure that for all Spice and Wolf like light novel readers / anime, we can figure an idea who might be the mysterious person, but I mean, I'm not gonna spoil it, obviously. But I think that the way that they set it up is really, really great. I think that this week's episode was really important for both Lauren's character as well as Holo's, because that chemistry is what really drives the narrative, and it's the soul heart of the story. You know, these two individuals, you know, that they're lonely themselves, because you gotta think to yourself, Lawrence was a very lonely merchant before Holo, and Holo has been, you know, always in a sense lonely because nobody can outlive her. So it's nice to see these two lonely souls, you know, come together and, you know, have a friendship and a bond that, you know, can be very as strong as theirs. But with all that being said, what did you guys think about this week's episode? Did you guys love it? Did you guys hate it? Did you guys thought it was alright? Whatever you guys thought, let me know in the comment section down below. Also, thank you so much for sticking all the way to the end of the video. I really appreciate it. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my YouTube channel for more Spice and Wolf, as well as more anime and manga content in the near future. But yeah, with all that being said, I hope you have a great rest of your day. Bye bye.